Good morning, everybody. My name is Christine, and I'm your host for Mom Talk. I am so excited today because I have my guest Pamela joining us, and she has a story that I can't wait to share with you. So if you are just coming on live, I would love for you to say hello in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. And if this is a replay for you, I would love for you to say hello in the comments. Let us know you were here so I can come back and say hello and answer any questions that you may have during this amazing interview with Pamela and Schwarz. So I can't wait to dive into this interview. So let's see if we can invite her on here. Hi, David. How are you today? It is not, we had just an amazing weekend. I can't get over the amazing weather we had here over the weekend. And now it is kind of rainy. But you know what? I'm so glad the weekend was awesome. We had a really great weekend. We actually went on a little family four-wheeler ride yesterday with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law and had so much fun. So I hope you guys had, the opportunity to take advantage of the weekend wherever it is you are in the world. No matter the weather too. You kind of just have to take those moments that you have together and make the best of them. And that is exactly what we did. So just waiting for my guest Pamela to join us. Today I am using good old-fashioned Facebook Live because I've realized that as much as I would love to use Switcher Studio for my interviews, my internet here is just not strong enough. Even using my data, which I'm using right now, still isn't strong enough because of the location I'm in. But hi, Pamela. But the last Friday when I did my coffee time on the road, because I was in downtown Camelford, I was able to get amazing signal, and I was able to use Switcher Studio there. But for these interviews, I'm just gonna have to, for now, use good old-fashioned Facebook Live. So, hi, Pamela. Let's see if we can get you added on here. Here we go. She has an incredible story, and I know you're gonna love her. Hi, Pamela.
Hey, oh gosh, I forgot to put on my headset. Hang on one second. Goodness gracious.
That's okay.
Forgive me.
That's okay.
Trying to have it all together for you. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for jumping on with us.
There we go. Okay, can you hear me?
There we go. I can absolutely hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely. You sound wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, good. I just didn't want the echoing to happen. For some reason, whenever I have a guest on live, they need to be wearing the earbuds because for some reason it echoes, and that's just something that I've learned.
Well, thank you for sharing that with me.
It's a good tip for everybody that wants to use Facebook Live. Your guest has to be earbudded.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So how are you this morning, Pamela?
I am wonderful. Very, very excited to be here with you. I am been seeing what you've got planned and what you've got going on, especially for our upcoming convention. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I've been doing some groundwork for myself because I've been praying about this. This is something that I need to work on and focus on to be better with success for myself and my team, to learn how to be a better networker and through social media. And so I've been following Fraser Brooks, and I'm just going to be starting a program that he does as well. So thank you for having me here today.
Oh, good. Oh, you're absolutely welcome. I know, sometimes I reach out and I ask moms, I'm like, would you like to be on Mom Talk? I would love to share your story. They're like, ooh, I'm not sure if I want to be on video. I don't know how to do that. I'm like, you know what? It is just natural. The only unnatural part of it is looking into a little black dot on your phone instead of the camera. I mean, the screen, which we all want to do. But yeah, anyhow. But I appreciate you being here, Pamela. So I would, the reason you're here is to share your story. So first of all, I would love for you to share with everybody a little bit about yourself and your family.
Sure. Well, my husband Andy and I just recently celebrated 20 years of marriage. We've been
Oh,
together,
congratulations.
thank you, for
That's
21. We
awesome.
just went on a cruise and we also celebrated his 50th birthday. So that's a really, really big deal as well. And
Yeah.
we both had struggles in our past with relationships. I was divorced twice with two children, one from each marriage, and he was divorced once with a child from that marriage. So we're a blended family with four sons. So two are mine, one is his, and one is ours.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
That is wonderful. And what are their age ranges?
Well, our eldest Ben is married to Noelle, and they are 29. And AJ is 25. He actually lives up in New Jersey near his mom. And Ben is a banker in the fraud division for a very prominent bank. AJ does sales for a commercial oh gosh, what am I thinking of? It's a plumbing business.
Hmm.
Gunner, our 22-year-old, is going into the Air Force next Tuesday. He's married. He got married in December. He actually is literally going to be a rocket scientist. I mean, he's brilliant. Scored a 97 out of 99 in the engineering portion of the program to get in. Wants to
Good for
work for
him.
Elon Musk at SpaceX when he grows up. And our youngest, Gavin, just graduated high school and he completed 2 years of dual enrollment at a local college. So he almost has his
Oh,
associate's degree. And he wants to be an elementary school teacher.
okay. Well, congratulations on all of your son's achievements. That's amazing.
Thank you very much. We're very proud. We're very, very proud.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you have a background in the health industry.
Hmm.
Tell us a little bit about your background and how long ago you got into that industry.
Oh, wow. Great question. Actually, I believe that it is completely divined by God for my circumstances and my journey. I was 13 years old when our father passed from liver cancer. He was 36. My parents had been divorced, but I have two sisters and a brother from my stepmother and my dad. And that summer, my 13th year, where I turned 14, we traveled for 3 months across country together, which was probably one of the best times I've ever had and really cemented the relationship of all of us, even though we grew up in separate houses. But I remember talking to my mom when my dad passed and saying, why would God do this to me? That was my 13-year-old mentality. And, a lot of people feel
Mhm.
that way as adults.
Oh, for sure.
Why
Yeah.
would he do this to me? Why wouldn't my dad be able to walk me down the aisle, to see me graduate high school, to see me have grandchildren, all of that. And my mother gave me very good sage advice, and that was to say that God provides us with circumstances so that we can minister to others.
Mm,
And
I
so,
love that.
with that, 2 years later, my papa, my mother's father, passed away from cancer as well. So I said, okay, God, I get the message. I'm supposed to do something to help prevent other families from suffering. And so I started out college, pre-med biochem at UMass Amherst. And then I kind of switched gears and went to Harvard where I studied linguistics. And everyone said to me, why are you doing that? Why would you make that shift? And I said, I don't know. I just have this incredible gift with languages. And for some reason, this is where God wants me to be. And so, coming full circle now, going through my neuromuscular therapy program, there was so much that had to do with the physiology of the body and understanding the parts of the body that are named after, Latin and French and Greek words. And this was a really, really big deal because I understood what they meant. And other people in my class were having difficulty, but it made sense to me. I get it. I understand why Pes Anserinus is goosefoot. I understand what all this means and how this comes together. So that made it very easy for me to be successful in that program, and then also helped me where I had a private practice for 20 years specializing in the alleviation of chronic pain and correction of dysfunctional biomechanics. And so I was blessed with that, but I also realized that my patients performed better, responded better on the table if they took better care of themselves at home. And so I needed to find out and do more research. And I would say I'm a big nerd. I love to do research. And so if I don't know the answer, I will find the answer for you. And so I did all of this research and I discovered how important it was. And I became certified as a health coach under the tutelage of Jordan Rubin, who did this study
Oh,
about, right, biblical healing, right? And so
oh, cool.
that's where I was able to come into the, I don't know, are we allowed to discuss company names here?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, well, I
Yeah.
started out with Beyond Organic, and
Yeah.
our company was acquired by Longevity, where we are now. And what I can tell you is that doing the same things I was doing before, just by walking in the door, my paycheck went up by 17%. So that was a really big
Wow.
deal. So
That's a really
I'm
big deal.
helping people and I'm getting paid better. And I then realized, you have to be humble. I was
Mhm.
thinking eating healthy, eating organic, all of those things were very important. But the truth is, our soil is so deficient that even the healthy organic foods that we consume don't have enough of the nutrients that we need. And so then I became a student of Doc Wallach. And so I believe fully that we need to continue our efforts in learning. We need to continue to grow. We need to continue in humility and understand that any person that comes to us, there's either a godly purpose that we are to provide to them or they are to provide to us.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. So, how do you intertwine? Because, Longevity and Beyond Organics, they were like a network marketing company. They still are.
Hmm.
They're a network marketing company.
Yes.
How do you intertwine that business model with your knowledge and practice in the health industry? Like, does it obviously they complement each other tremendously. So, how do you work them together?
Well, they go hand in hand. Like I said, they're going to respond better to the therapy if they're taking better care of themselves at home. And so
Mhm.
teaching them about the 90 for life, and I love how Doc Wallach says that when people ask, how long should I be taking this? And you'll say, well, he'll say, as long as you fog a mirror. So it's
Yep.
as long as you're breathing. And that's really important for people to understand, is that the basic core of our protocol is for everyone to be singularly healthy. And then he
Mhm.
adds on what are called those special sauces that are
Mhm.
the additional things that people need, the extras, because their body has fallen into a state of disrepair. And so they need the
Yeah.
extra stuff to get better. And so I find that when you tell people the truth and you teach them about Doc Wallach's message, it becomes a lot simpler. It's you need to step aside. For me, as a healthcare practitioner, I understand and can explain these things. A lot of people can't do that
Mhm.
individually. And I always say you don't need to be a me. You just need to be
No.
a messenger and share with
Mhm.
them. And so I do use the health evaluation system very well, and
Mhm.
I love that because people can fill out an evaluation on themselves and then they see it. It's like, okay, I filled out these items and this is what it told me I needed. And I find that to
Yeah.
be very beneficial.
Yes, it makes someone like myself who is not educated in the health system or the practice or anything like that. It helps someone like myself or anybody that wants to help anybody be able to refer, the proper protocol for them, that Dr. Wallach would do.
Hmm.
So, Mike, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, does your family follow exactly what you tell them? Like, you know how it is in this industry is, we are so passionate about whatever company it is that we're in, but family usually goes, you're crazy. You're crazy. So I would love to know, because you already had the background in nutrition and medical, all that kind of stuff. Does your family follow you? Do they use the same products that you use? And I'm pretty sure your husband is like side by side with you in this as well. But I'm really curious to know how your children are following you within this
That's
journey.
a great question. And yes, Christine, you are right. Family and friends are the most difficult people to understand what it is that we do and why it's so important. Um, I can tell you that for myself, and I actually have I keep it close at hand, but my blood work that I have from my doctor, I can use it. My doctor said basically I should put it on the fridge. It's that great. My husband, he actually was afflicted with a thing called polycythemia, which is the opposite of anemia. And he had three
Okay.
different grandparents die from complications from it, so from heart attacks and strokes. And so your system gets clogged, your bloodstream is clogged with too many red blood cells. And so
Okay.
I put him on the protocol, and his blood work is now perfect. His blood pressure has come down. And, we can't say we can treat, prevent, or cure any disease. However, doesn't it make sense if we provide the body with what it needs that it will perform better? So,
Yeah.
yes, for myself, I see a difference. Yes, I see a difference, and my husband knows that whatever I put in front of him, he's going to take because it works. And the
Yeah.
son that's still living in our house, yes, he takes it every day because that's the rule of living here. The other ones, it's hard because they're not living here. They actually, the one that's going to the Air Force, he and his wife are planning on doing the protocol as they plan toward having children. Once he's finished with his boot camp, because he's not allowed to take anything during boot camp, once he's finished, then the both of them will begin the protocol. So they understand. They've actually come with me to see Doc Wallach in person, and so they get it. My eldest has come with me to network marketing businesses for years, to meetings. So he understands what I do. He thinks he can't do it, although I will tell you that this book with Fraser Brooks, The I Dare You, is really terrific, and I'm going to give him a copy of that book. Um, he and his wife, she is really on board and wants to do it, but I am making sure that they need to be responsible for their own healing process. So, uh, yes and no would be the
Yeah.
proper answer.
I love that. And thank you so much for sharing that and the true honesty of what it's like to have children in the home and out of the home. So I'm in a transition. My daughter is also graduating from high school this year. She graduates in June, well, the 27th of this month. And her
Congratulations.
boyfriend, thank you. Her boyfriend is actually in the Air Force, and he is now, stationed in Petawawa. He's a mechanic, and I've been talking to them, regularly about, once you guys are leaving the house, you have to be responsible for the things that I'm purchasing right now for you.
Yes, yes.
So, I really hope that they will too, because they both came to convention with me last year.
Oh,
So I had my daughter and her boyfriend with me because because I see them, they have a future together. So I was like, he has to see what Martina has seen growing up.
hmm,
So I'm like, you got to come to convention with me. And he listened to Dr. Wallach and he was blown away. So,
good.
um, yeah, so I'm glad that, you know, we're not the only family that's really thinking about, once they've left the nest, they kind of have to make their own decisions, but you really want to instill in them, what it is that is important to them. And then, of course, they have to make their own decisions, right? So,
Exactly. And that's something that Andy and I are very, very committed about is, they were always welcome to stay here as long as they wanted, but there are house rules
mhm,
that they had to abide by. And
yeah,
so they make their
absolutely.
choices, and all we can do is provide proper guidance. But keep in mind, too, that these kids are still young. They haven't dealt with the afflictions that we, as we get older, are dealing with. So they almost think
Yeah,
that they have this superhero effect. And
I
I
know. Yeah.
laughed when you asked me, what superhero do you think that I would be most like? And I'm thinking, you know what? The kids think they're superheroes. I mean, I have one who's Thor, one who's Captain America, one who's Spider-Man. I mean, it's like a running joke in our
Love
house
that.
of the superhero category. But I'll stick with my old-fashioned Wonder Woman.
I
And
know.
they would say the
Can't go
same
wrong with
thing.
one.
They would say the same
Yeah.
thing of me because of all the stuff that I've done over the years of being
Yeah.
a homeschool mom to being
Oh,
yeah, I did homeschool for the last three. AJ we did for a year and a half. Gunnar we did for 2 years, and Gavin 6 years. And so
okay.
he's the one that's just graduated with the dual enrollment. So it's a homeschool, but it's kind of
Oh,
hybridized. It goes through the
yeah.
public school system. The one thing I didn't
Okay.
want to do was I didn't want to have to be the one to keep track of all the paperwork and then at the end of the time say, oh, he didn't satisfy this requirement or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but I was there with him, going through the whole program as well. And I've been very blessed with a lot of knowledge to be able to share with him. And my Christian faith is it we can discern through what needs to be understood for a test and what needs to be understood for our faith,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. I'm so glad I didn't know that about you, that you guys homeschool, because we homeschooled our children too. Um, our daughter was from grade 5 and then up to she went into the high school here in our community in second semester of grade 10.
Oh,
And
wow.
then our son is still homeschooled. Well, he's more like unschooled.
Mhm.
He worked with my husband. We have a landscaping company, so he works with him all the time. So he's basically in trade school. So
Wonderful. Yeah.
yeah, which is wonderful. So he's doing amazingly.
Yeah.
So
Good.
yeah. So
Congratulations on that
um,
too.
thank you. It's amazing. I never thought homeschooling would have been for us until we did it. We had a couple rough years, thinking that I needed to do it this way when really we had to do it this way. And
Hmm.
yeah, so it was a learning experience, but absolutely loved the journey.
Absolutely.
So
I agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you recently started diving into a new desire in love, and that's learning more about the CBD and what it can do for people. This is such a hot topic, and you know, learning about it really is it's quite phenomenal. And I would love for you to touch a little bit on, why you felt you needed to do more research on this and how is it going?
Oh, absolutely. And, again, being the nerd, I like to do this research and find out about what's going on. So when I went through my final paper in school, I wanted to study the endocrine system because that was something that was so fascinating to me that we knew very little about, we, the medical community. How important hormones are to the body and what they do for you, and not just the basic hormones, the basic hormone functions that most people think about. But when I found out, when we began to share a zero THC CBD, I wanted to know how and why it worked. And now I understand that our bodies actually have what's called an endo means inside, cannabinoid system. And this was only discovered in the late 80s. So this is relatively new for us to understand about. And what's really great is that the endocannabinoid system is the one running around spinning the plates for all the other body functions that we have. So it's 12 of a 12 point system, and it's in charge of how they all function. So when people have problems with fertility or problems with pain or problems with sleep or problems with stress and mental cognition, all these things, the hormone system, the endocrine system itself, they are all overseen by the endocannabinoid system. That's really critical. And that's why our three flagship products work so well, because we have one that helps with that topical pain, we have one that's for sleep, and one that is for the mental cognition or stress. And when you use them all in conjunction, I have found that people respond better because it's keeping a constant flow of those cannabinoids in the body. We actually create our own cannabinoid. It's called anandamide, and it's the bliss hormone or the bliss chemical, and it makes us happy. And I always say, you know what, I'm a really happy person, so I must have a lot. And I did find out that we do have varying degrees of numbers of cannabinoid receptors and a
Okay.
difference of where they are in the body and a concentration. So I thought that was pretty cool. And they're like a
That is.
fingerprint. So we're all unique and different. So when, just like I would say to patients in my practice, they would ask me, how long will it take for me to notice this? And I said, well, we're going to let your body dictate. Whatever it is that your body's going through, we're going to respond how it is responding to the therapy and to whatever we're introducing to it.
Oh, that's great. I'm fascinated by it. When we started learning about it and the difference between CBD and actual marijuana, I didn't know that. I was one of those people that was ignorant to it. And when I learned about it, I was like, oh, this makes total sense. I'm so excited about this. But unfortunately, we can't get it here in Canada yet.
Oh,
But
that's right. I'm
sure.
forgetting about that.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, no.
I know,
It
right?
is
I'll
awesome.
take
It's, oh my gosh, we have to change the laws. We have to fix this.
I know.
it's really fascinating, and people do get freaked out by hemp and marijuana and what's the difference and throwing the baby out with
Yeah,
the bathwater kind of a thing.
yeah,
But they're cousins. Think about a lemon and a lime, right?
yeah,
They look similar in shape, but they're different in color. They have varying degrees of vitamin C, but they, both are from a tree with shiny leaves and, things like that. If you think about it, you understand how they're related. And the same thing goes for hemp and marijuana. So I call
yeah,
them cousins,
yeah,
you know.
absolutely. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Well, this has been wonderful, Pamela. Thank you so much for sharing your story
Oh,
and letting everybody in on your world and who Pamela is and what makes you tick and what makes you passionate. So before I let you
mhm.
go, I would love for you to share with the other women that are watching something that, what is it that maybe you're listening to or reading or that you could, send them to just really, if they're trying to maybe do something for themselves, create their own income, um, and they just need that personal development key.
Absolutely.
What would you recommend?
There's so many great things. Okay,
There is.
first of all, Eric,
So what would be what's passionate? What has helped you?
Eric
Uh,
Worre's Go Pro. Read that book.
yeah.
Participate in his programs. Um, Tom Chenault has been an incredible mentor of mine, and so his son Adrian created the contact mapping app. Huge resource to be able to use and document. As Adrian would say, if you spend 30 minutes with a person, then you should take 30 seconds to document the information and then set up a follow up.
Yeah.
Um, Gosh, I've actually gone through training with a gentleman named Mark Januszewski, and he's just his program, um, the um, the Master Key Mastermind program is all about finding joy no matter where you are. So sometimes people and women, especially, we have such high expectations that we put on ourselves, and we're going back to that Wonder Woman thing. We're doing everything all the time, and so we get discouraged if we're not succeeding the way we want to, right? So this really kind of gives you an ability to find those successes that keep you going and make you feel happy. Again, Fraser Brooks, if you're learning how to be an online network marketer, then that's a great way to go. The list goes on and on. I've actually done some book studies. And you can go take a look at my team page, constellationteam.com, and I've done a lot of book recordings and studies where I go through chapter by chapter with people. And in that, I also talk about how to treat your body like a temple. There's one that I did through the whole concept of the Jordan Rubin mindset.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I'm just been very, very blessed, and I'm just so thankful. I'm humbled that you asked me to come and be a part of your program, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do to help others. And I'm very, very impressed that you're going to be presenting, and I know that it's going to be phenomenal. So thank you so
Oh,
much for
thank
letting me
you.
be a small part.
Oh, no, thank you for being a part of this. Is it if it wasn't for, individuals like yourself that are willing to share their story, then there would be no Mom Talk. And that's exactly why I started it was, stories are what people relate to and authenticity. So I wanted to have a platform to have that. So thank you so much for being a part of it because I'm sure there's been someone that has loved listening to your story and hopefully will reach out to you. So, what is the best way for someone to reach out to you and contact you about a little bit more of what you can offer them?
Absolutely. They can go to my personal webpage, which is Pamela Ann, Anne, Schwarz, SCHWARZ.com. And all of my contact information is there. So that's the best way to do it. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for Mom Talk. And give a lots of love to Pamela for joining us today. And we'll see you again next time on Mom Talk. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Pamela. Have a
Christine.
wonderful
You have a
day.
blessed day
Bye
as
for now.
well. Bye bye.